Hi, this is Steve, and I have a Dyna-Glo charcoal offset vertical smoker here that we're going to build. This is the wide version and not the regular version. Previous video I made was the unboxing of the smoker and how it looks and some of the things I like about it, about like the thickness of it. I have my boy here, who's also named Steve, who's going to be helping me record this video. The instruction tells us that it's going to take us roughly about 15 minutes to put this together. Estimated time, 15 minutes. And that these are the parts that we're going to need in order to put it together. It might take us a few minutes longer because we're going to be recording the process. But we'll be pausing in between. That way it doesn't take too much time. Alright, here we go. Alright, so one of the things you might want to know is that the bag that goes over top of the charcoal smoker contains the screws that you'll need. I hunted all over to try to find the screws, and I almost thought they weren't included until I looked in the big bag and ended up finding them. So that's just a note for later. Pause. Alright, so our instructions are telling us basically that it's time to put the smoke cabinet on its side like this, and then to place the firebox on top. But before we do that, I want to point out a few things. Steve, if you can zoom down here, there is a bevel right here on the edge. I don't know if you can see that. And when you put the firebox on top, you go to put it in, it's going to set inside there. That's going to be great for the smoke. Alright, so one of the things we're going to do is we're going to put sealant around this bevel edge so that it seals up against the inverted bevel edge on the smoke cabinet. And this sealant we got from Island Outdoor LLC. It is Seal Bond. It is RTV 6500. It's a silicone based. This sealant in particular is food grade quality. I was talking about that earlier. So we're going to put a bead of this around, and I'll show you in a video about that. And we're going to go ahead and pause the video right now.
Go.
This stuff's pretty thick. Probably not putting enough on. I was told in a form that this is a one-time use, so once you open this container up, you have to use it all or it's gone. So we got to make sure that we do this all today. That looks good. I'll do the other one. Alright, go ahead and pause it, Stevie, for time. So as you can see, I added a little bit more thicker layer. I will say that it does have a strong smell to it. I'm not concerned. I would say that make sure that you verify that you have the food grade quality. And we're going to take this. We're now going to set it on the firebox. Okay, there we go. I'm going to move it around a little bit. Pick it up. Ooh, that's got a good seal. That tightened that up really well. Alright, so now I have to put 4 screws on this side to attach the box. And we'll come back when those are done. Okay. Get that screwed in. And Got 2 more screws to put in here and here, but what I wanted to show you was that red RTV, I believe it's called. It's sealed really well right in that area. I'll go ahead and get the other 2. Alright, one thing I did want to say, just because the thought came into my mind, I didn't put sealant on these screws because these screws don't enter the fire chamber at all, so there's not going to be any smoke or anything coming through it, and it's a pretty tight seal, so I'll just leave it like that, not putting sealant on those screws. So here's the legs, and the instructions tell me to actually take this unit, to close the door, and to flip the unit where it's laying on, the top is on the bottom. I don't think I'm going to do that. Wisdom tells me if I do that, it might get top heavy and fall over to the side. I'm going to go ahead and try to find something to hold this door closed, and I'm just going to put these legs on like it is here. I don't even usually seal it because we're not getting in the firebox or the chamber at all, so we'll just go ahead and screw these down and come back and show you what it looks like. Well, wisdom is not always right when you don't use it correctly. Reason why, these guys are beveled, and how they kick off to the side, we do have to put it up like this in order to screw it down. And concerns about the firebox. It's on there pretty tight, so it makes it a lot easier. So the instructions were right, and my logic was incorrect. All right, go ahead and pause it. All right, so this is one of the legs, and we screwed them, put 3 screws in, made sure they're nice and snug and tight all the way around. One of the things I wanted to show was how thick the metal is. I believe that the whole entire chamber of everything is either that thick or a little thicker. When it comes to the legs, one of the concerns I was thinking about was, are they strong enough to hold everything with the meat? These guys are pretty tough. It wobbles a little bit, but we'll see how they hold up. We'll have to wait and see. All right, that's the last and final leg. We got the 4 legs on now. All right, and I want you to take a wide view of what it looks like. Again, these are pretty sturdy. You can wobble them this way, but laying down, they're going to be pretty sturdy. I'm going to see if I have enough muscle to flip it up. Maybe these are one of the things I shouldn't do on camera. So we'll go ahead and pause and magically flip it up when we come back. So that wasn't bad, actually. It only took me like a half a second to flip it. I thought it was going to be harder than what it was. And it wasn't. So now we got this. The seal actually is trying to open this back up, but we don't have the latch or anything yet installed. But the legs are sturdy. A concern that I have, another concern, I guess I have many concerns in this, is how is the wind going to do this when it's outside? Because, if the wind blows this way, it's going to, knock it down. So I might anchor it down to the ground to keep it from knocking over when I take it outside. All right, go ahead and pause. I would like to state, do not flip this unit over until you have installed the door latch. What it's telling us next to do is to go ahead and take the door latch And basically what we're going to do is we're going to put it on these two screws. Put screws in it, one here and one on the back. Then we're going to take this and unscrew it until where it can latch. And this will be the door latch that keeps it closed. We'll have one on the bottom and to help secure the door. So when we're back, that'll be installed. Okay, we secured it here and here, so it's nice and secure. Now we're going to have to latch it closed. You can tell how it's loose right there. We're going to screw it down. Needs to screw just a little bit more down. I'm going to have to take and move this nut a little further up because I can't. If I leave it loose like that and put it down, it's going to let smoke out. So I'm going to tighten that up a little bit more, because once I get it tight where I want it to be, to about right there, then I'll be able to close the door and smoke won't get out. Alright, so you go to put this like this, the latch comes down, it's a little loose, and then when you close it, it seals completely up. I'll show that again. So I can loosen this up a little bit probably too, and then it'll shut up just like that. So remember, when you put this down, earlier I said that I'm going to tighten it up where it closes like that, but I forgot when you latch it, it actually makes it a little tighter. So I only had to make a slight adjustment. I did that adjustment using my crescent wrench, moving the nut. You can see where it's a little loose right there. Tighten it down a little bit more. We're good. Alright, so now we have our smokestack, and we're going to install this smokestack. It's installed only one way, as you can see how the screw holes are set up here and how they are set up there. There's only one way to put this on so it lines up perfectly. We'll put screws on each one. I am not worried about smoke coming through there right yet. When I do the fire and have the smoke come through, if I see there's a lot of smoke leakage right in here, well, you know what? I might go ahead and put a bead. I'm going to put a red bead of that silicone spray, or the RTV silicone. I'll go ahead and put a little bit right around the corner here. Are you getting that, Stevie? Mm-hmm. All right. There we go. Get that, put it on there. There we go. Just to stop the smoke. Smoke is flavor, and we don't want to stop the smoke from getting out. Alright, and then we'll go ahead and put the screws on. We'll be right back. Different levels to let it out. I see. There's a, I don't know if you can get that, Stevie. Inside there's a close off, so you can see how that operates. It's come over here, Steve. Over on this side. Out of the way. I want to show this here. So if you're wondering how this works, there's little notches right here, and there's a little indent right there, and it fits in each notch hole. So if you want to open it, that is open, and this is actually or no, that's open and this is closed. Next thing is we're going to put this latch on the door here. We got 2 screws, and we're going to attach it there. I am going to go ahead and put, since that's going into my smoke chamber, I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of that red stuff, the silicone, wherever I put it. Here it is. I'm going to put some of that silicone right on here. All right. There, I put red silicone like that. And we'll grab a screw and put it through. Move this around. I'm going to try to smear it around a little bit. That way I know the silicone's on there really well. If the silicone doesn't hold and I still get smoke leaks, I don't think they're going to be big smoke leaks, but I might end up taking the screws back off and putting a little bit more around the screws. But we'll be able to tell after the first burn. And look at that. Be careful not to do what I just did. If you can tell, I put it on backwards. It's best to find out now than later, though. So, otherwise, that would have dried up. You didn't tell me I had that on backwards, Steve.
I didn't know. How was I supposed to know? It looks the same.
Alright, where did the screw go? There it is. I guess that is a fail for videoing. I think I might let that slip through the video editing too, because I'm not a perfect person. I'm far from perfect. Okay. Make sure it's nice and tight. Check the latch. It needs to come out a little bit more. Just a little bit more. Oops. There. That's latch closed. Alright, so we're going to attach this handle. We're going to put it right here, like so. Look at these. They did a very, very nice job of putting these inserts in. I want to know, that's going to be a tight seal when I go to lay that, put that in. I don't know if I'm going to put for the handles, because I might have to take them off later in the future to clean them up. I'm going to see how it does without the red silicone in those spots. So we'll be right back. So one of the people I read about said about dents being in the thing. I'm wondering if it was dents after they've constructed it at the local store, if they bought it at the store, or if it was dents in the boxes, because we did a look through on this prior to assembly, and there was no dents anywhere, so I must have put that dent in myself when I was moving things around. Be careful, even though it is a nice thick metal, it is bendable. I must have put that in myself. And we got the handle on, but when I pull up on the handle, you can see the metal wobble a little bit, so just to let you know that. Alright, so this is all cast iron. I'm not for sure if I remember them saying it was chrome plated or not. This one down here, This is chrome plated on the firebox. This one's cast iron. I'm not quite for sure what the difference or why the difference. Maybe aesthetic reasons, but these have two holes right here, and if you look closely, Stevie, zoom in at those holes from this side, my angle, you can tell that they don't have those screw bits, so we're definitely going to put some of the silicone right there because smoke will leak out of that area. Alright, so I put my screw in. I can tell right now by this recording that somebody is cringing because I'm doing this, because I probably won't be able to break this free. This is not JB Weld. This is food grade silicone, so I should be able to break this free. It's not any silicone though. It is 65 or 650 degrees. It will withstand. Okay, so if you get any stuff on you or anywhere you don't want, wipe it off quickly so it doesn't dry. If it dries, I imagine it just peels off, but I don't want to go through that problem. Here's the latches. So you have the top latch, and you have this bottom latch underneath. You can, when you go to undo that, you can kick it off, and then up on top here, just set that up. And then you go. This does not turn at all. That's a fixed. I'm not for sure how I feel about this when it comes time to smoking, but we'll have to see how it goes. We'll go to the next step. Okay, so here's your thermometer, temperature gauge. I took the nut off of it. Again, there's some holes right here. It sits in like this. It's an area where we'll have leakage for smoke. So once again, we're going to put some stuff on here to seal it tight with that silicone. I'm going to put some extra on here, really, because those are really tight holes, or really big holes. And I don't think this is going to go up against it tight like it should. Push it down. And then open the chamber up. You're probably going to, if you don't have that silicone, you're definitely going to lose smoke right here. A lot of smoke will go right there. And I'm going to wipe that off because that's the probe. And I don't want it to dry on the probe because I want it to register the heat. Around the probe is no big deal, but if I put it on the probe, it's not going to tell me what the temperature is. Keep that in mind. If you cover this up, this is what's going to tell your temperature on the outside. So you don't want to cover that up with any silicone. You want that to be free and clear. And that's when you're doing the whole entire temperature for this whole entire chamber. This gauge is going to tell you what it is at this point. It may be hotter down at the bottom. Okay, more likely it will be hotter down at the bottom. Keep that in mind, because this might be 250, and down here maybe closer to 275, 300. Alright, so here's the other handle that we have, and it's going to go on like so. It's on the fire chamber box. There is a, let me open this up so you can take a look at it. Look up here, you see this shiny metal? A heat shield. They put a heat shield in here, and I'm not going to worry too much about putting silicone in here. This firebox I'm pretty impressed with. So we'll go ahead and put this handle on, and we'll be right back. Alright, so that's done. It's on there secure. Yeah. Alright, so we're going to put these in. You're going to want to put them in where the notch is, like it's going like this. Because the weight will keep that in place. If you get it the other way, it's just not going to work. So put that in like that. And then we'll come back when we get all the other ones done. Alright, so you can pile them all right on one spot like that. You can space them out if you want. Every other one. They're totally adjustable. So if you have something big on one spot, but then you have some little ones some other spots. Do something like that. For right now, I think I'm just going to do everything at once, so I have everything in here. There. Stop it. Alright, so you got this beveled edge, it goes towards the back. One of the questions I had when I did the wide edition, when I bought the wide edition of this smoker, was how wide and how long are the racks? If I could do this right. They are 13.5 inches by about 22.5 inches. So if you're wanting to know that information, I'll take a minute now, because there are some other dimensions. I got to move that a little bit. There's other dimensions that I wanted to know was, you know, how wide was the body. So it's about 14 inches. By how long is this piece here? 24 inches, the top. And again, this is 14 on top here. And how tall does it stand from the ground? Is about 44.5, but the chamber box itself is about 35 3/4. Alright, so it's nice to have those beveled edges, so when you pull out, it kind of keeps you from pulling it all the way out. You can put some weight on that. It slides down, however. I don't know if you've noticed that or not. When I go to pull it out, if I have weight on that, it's going to come down a little bit. So be careful with that, but it's nice to be able to slide them out. However, it would be nice for them to be able to stay placed, because if I have something that's heavy and I want to pull it out, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what it's like cooking, because that bring it down like that, I'd worry that my meat would roll off. Go ahead and pause it. Alright, gentlemen, this thing comes with a rib rack. Look at that thing. That is awesome. So you can put the rib rack anywhere you want and substitute of one of these spots. Actually, just like that. Alright, like I was saying earlier, this is the rib rack, so we can cook our ribs. It has these little notched areas here and here. I could choose any one that I want and slide it in there. Those notched areas is going to lock that in place. Okay? So you have it locked in place, so it's not going to slide out with you or anything like that. You could, if you put too much pressure, you could pull that out of spot. Okay? Ready? All right, so here we've got our ashtray. It goes in like that. And then we have our grate. it snaps into place there. And then we have our porcelain firebox area, which goes in between these areas here. Makes it for nice, easy cleanup. I believe that's set up correctly. And our last thing we're going to be installing is the drip tray. And we will slides in underneath there just like that, and we have our drip tray. So I'll let my boy Steve do the different views and angles, and if you have any questions about this in particular smoker and how we were able to build it or size or anything like that, just send me a message. I'll reply back. We roughly got it done, if we were just to put it together ourselves, in 15 minutes, and it was relatively easy to put together. Concerns that I might have about it are those racks, about the meat falling out if I don't pay attention. The other concern that I have is, of course, this latch underneath here. The difficulty it's going to be able to latch it. Unlatching it's pretty easy. I can use my foot. Latching is going to be difficult. I think that's really the only two major concerns I have. I'll let you know honestly how this gauge works, if it's pretty accurate or not. I'm looking to purchase a thermo probe. I'll put one inside the box and one inside the meat so I know what the temperatures are and be able to tell you whether or not it works right. But there's the final view of it. All right. Now, all in all, for the money, I actually think that this is a steal. The metal thickness is awesome. I think we'll be able to keep a good heat with inside the chamber. I'm really impressed with how easy this was to put together. When you get it constructed, it's a pretty solid piece. With the sealing in it, with the to be able to control the smoke from here, control the burn from there, with all the holes and everything that has in it, the final test is going to be when I put smoke and get smoke to come through it. But I'm pretty impressed with how much thought and engineering went into this to make sure that it was a good solid piece. So we'll see how the smoke goes in it, but great job, Dyna-Glo, for putting this together. I'm excited. We'll see how it goes.